Smash like button, stop it now. Yeah, man. Win, lose, draw, we're here. And we're live. Win, lose, or draw, we're here. Egal's in the building. He's a regular fixture on my channel. He's part of the family. How you doing, my guy, man? Before we get into the obvious.
You know what? People are trying to ruin my vibe. Like, at this
Talk
point,
up, man. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let's go. Let's go.
It's a situation where it's like, what's happened. Why do we need to cry about it for the rest of the year? People are gonna cry until next season starts. Man up. Things happen. We don't win all the time. We don't lose all the time. Sometimes we just need to get ourselves together and be like, you know what? We go again next year. But apparently that is a toxic phrase now. Tweeting that we go again next year is you've accepted failure. No, I've accepted the fact that we didn't win the friggin' Champions League. We didn't win the league. We didn't win the FA Cup. We didn't win the League Cup. We're not good enough in the final third, and we need to improve. But the same people who are saying we're not good enough are the same people saying you're a loser for saying go again next year. What? Don't let these rivals get in your head, man. People moving like idiots out here, man. It pisses me off, Deluded. I'm starting off agitated already because I just...
This is why you're here, man. Get everything off your chest. You're the guest, man. Everybody hears enough of my voice and my videos. We're here for this, man.
Bro, I finished work today and I had a Chelsea fan messaging me saying, haha, we're going to finish with a trophy and you're going to finish with nothing. We're better than you. I'm like, that doesn't make you win the league next year. Good job winning the Conference League. I got Manchester United fan telling me, haha, Ahmad's gonna have more trophies than Saka in his short career. I'm like, does that make Ahmad a better player? Does that make Ahmad a better player than Saka?
Of course not. The game's you know how it is though. The game's the game. Agendas have to agenda. If we were shit and we got Europa, we do the same.
I got Spurs fans telling me, if we win the Europa League, we are bigger than Arsenal. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Respectfully. I got men.
They've already won more European trophies than us, and that ain't changed yet.
We win the FA Cup, we're bigger than Arsenal. I got Chelsea fans.
Wait. What did you before you carry on? Wait, what did you say about the FA Cup? Who? What?
Man City fans are saying if we win the FA Cup, we're now bigger than you because we have almost the same amount of trophies as you. They're like 2 trophies away from us.
Do you know what it is for me with this? I'll be honest. I don't really care about whose club is bigger and whatnot. I just feel it's kind of like if we were both in school and I said, Egal, my dad will beat up yours, and you say your dad will beat up mine. It's all, it is what it is. Of course, you could go down trophies. You can go down the route of, who's got the bigger fan bases. Personally, I don't care. I don't know about anyone else. Arsenal's the only team I care about. They're the biggest team in the world to me. As much as I'm sour about other teams potentially winning trophies out of context and us being so good, quote unquote, for the last few years and not getting over the line, it is what it is. Whatever way it panned out, these lot have opportunities. I am vexed about Man United though, because it's like they always gate crash the party. They got the FA Cup, then they got into the Europa League. The Europa League that I hope to God they win. That's their passage into the Champions League. But ultimately, you got to win stuff. And I think with Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, it's a sense of we got to win, bro. Had we have won,
would you rather win it, Man United or Spurs?
Are you really asking me that? Really? I wasn't one of these Arsenal fans that wanted Spurs to win last season.
Some Arsenal fans are saying they'd rather Spurs win it for 2 reasons. There are 2 logical reasons. Is 1, they feel Man United are closer to us if they win it, and 2, they feel like if Spurs win it, maybe it will agitate the board to do more.
Nah, because what Spurs got to do with us, it generally beyond the obvious. Like
I agree with you.
I don't think the club are looking at it like that. I don't give a like if Spurs win, it is what it is. Obviously, I live in North London, so I'll get a bit peed off because I'll literally see the trophy parade. United got to win that, man. United got to win that. Do you know? I'll be honest. When I remove my rival, well, not even rival, but Spurs hater cap as an Arsenal fan, Postecoglou said I normally win stuff in my second year. If he goes and does that, it's great. I'd rather United win because of the obvious and also the fact that I've seen United do this before. They've won a trophy and they say, oh, in our worst season, we always win stuff, which is true. They find a way to make it happen. I've done that before. I don't want Spurs chatting nonsense to me. And we finally kind of quieting down the whole kind of like power shift talk. I don't really want that to start. Before we carry on though, now I know why your name is Deluded. That exactly how you sounded on the show with Julian and them, man. Absolute waffle. I can't talk the truth when it matters. Thank you very much for watching that. Thank you for talking about me. Thank you very much, man. Hated, adored, but never ignored. I've actually said I wasn't happy about certain things, but I guess on social media, if I'm not effing and blinding and this is shit and that shit and whatever, it's whatever. I guess, I'm pretty sure Egal's got family members and a mom and dad, me the same. How you talk with your friends, how you talk with them, the code is going to be different. But I appreciate it, man. The very fact that you watched it, found my channel, I appreciate that. It's rather than being ignored. But yeah, God bless you. Hope you enjoyed
this one. You're probably one of the most balanced content creators out there.
But I can't really please no one, man. I've stopped caring.
You're very balanced. Like a lot of people who, when I give people examples of an Arsenal fan who's in the middle, who doesn't really get swayed by either conversation,
I want to be swayed by winning, though.
Of course, but you don't get swayed by arguments. You have your opinion. You wait for the facts, and you know what? It's not only about you, but it's the fact that people. The reason why a lot of people watch your transfer content is because you're not like some of these people who say it's bullshit right away. You're like,
appreciate
you know what I mean?
And appreciate it, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck all of that though, Egal, man. Like I said,
hey, bro,
whether they hate me, they hate you.
What are we doing, Deluded?
Pardon me?
Pick up yourself every time, man.
Exactly. Like, bro, like this. Come on now. We've both been in. We've got a lot of skin in the game. We've been doing this for years. 1 minute they hate you, then they whatever. Like, I just wanted to address that because I know he wanted his 5 minutes of fame, but I appreciate you, whoever that was.
Bro, did you see what happened on the terrace the other day with me? After we lost. The
only thing I've seen with you, I actually found it absolute cinema yesterday, man, when it was like you, Yardman, obviously on Dan Potts' channel and all the lads. And I think that show, kind of sums up the difference of opinions because I find myself agreeing with you a lot, find myself agreeing with them a lot. It's cinema, man, absolute cinema. I don't agree personally with, I think Yardman said, big up Lee and Yardman. I don't agree with, I'd rather be in the Europa League than the champs because I've seen my team bottle a final in both competitions. I'd rather be in the champs personally, but I hear the rhetoric.
This was what happened. After we lost, there was some fan on the terrace with us laughing with rivals about me calling players world class, saying he always does this. And then I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta relax, bro. Why are you acting like a cock for rivals? Like, just be quiet for a second and let them talk shit. You don't have to add on. The one thing I hate is tag along Arsenal fans who laugh at rivals like we aren't like we don't support the same club. Like, let the rivals celebrate the fact that we lost. Why am I seeing Arsenal fans acting like they're celebrating it too to try to make themselves feel better? What the hell's wrong with people?
And the thing is, no matter how much you do that, you're going to be vexed.
I know you'd be at the parade, but why is it you're so active now? The worst people are the people who are only active when we're doing bad and never active when we're doing well. They piss me off the most, man.
That's football. That's football, my guy, man. That is football. That's social media. Like, it is what it is, man. But fuck all of that. Let's get into the obvious, man.
Culture Cam's video about Arsenal.
No.
Culture Cam put out him and Leah's put out a video, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before we move on from.
Go on. I'm keen to know what was said.
He basically is saying, Arsenal fans, when are you going to give up enjoying the journey and start demanding more?
I agree with that in principle. I agree with the statement in principle without the nuances. I agree with that. But what else did he say?
I'm sorry, but when did football turn into you just look at what happened in May and you don't look at the rest of the season?
That's why I said I agree with it in principle. I wouldn't say I enjoy the journey, but I recognize the journey, wanting to improve, yada, yada, yada. But that being said, I do think we need to start getting over the line. We do need to start winning because I think the fans deserve it. And I was planning on getting into it earlier. Yeah, park off Arteta and the board for a sec. I feel sorry for the players. I can criticize their ability. I can criticize why they were brought to the club. I can criticize their consistency, all of that jazzy gal. The one thing I can't criticize is their not even mentality, is their effort. Like, I think they have wanted it. I've seen players step up. I've seen players play with injuries. I've seen players get to a semis. And I feel sorry for the players, if I'm completely honest. And I said that in August. I said the only people, if there's a knock-on effect with injuries or not addressing certain areas in the summer, the only people I feel sorry for is the players. And I think this season has to be a wake-up call. I've previously said this to you, yeah, but next season, I assume, would be the fourth year, would be expected to get a Champions League or get a Prem or win some sort of silverware, right? Going back to starting from next season to 2022. I believe in this period now that we face ourselves, park off next season, we should have, like, we would have had to have had the summer we're probably hoping we're having, because they've been together for a long time. But I hear it. I do think they need to demand more, but I think they need to look at our football club. You know, you've got Mikel Arteta. We're going to live by his good stuff and die by his bad stuff. I think the Cronkies have invested, but I don't think our owners are necessarily winners. And I think, you know, even if we, you know, big up Kenny Ken, I'm going to be on a show with him later. When you start listening to older heads, you kind of understand where Arsenal are at. Me personally, I don't think the Emirates is going to feel like home to me until we win stuff. I do think the Emirates has been riddled with failure, but as you said there, it is what it is, man. I asked you a few weeks ago, like, do you think this season is stagnation or regression? I think it's regression with elements of stagnation. But my point is not to ask you that again, whether you pick or anyone picks stagnation or regression, bro. It's not the direction we wanted to go in, which is progress. I don't think we've progressed. Yeah, we've got to a semi-finals, first there since 16 years of age, since 16 years. And I think we're actually doing two projects at once, but that's for another show, man. I want to ask
how you look at football.
Go on.
It depends how you view football. If you view football as finishing second in the league, getting further in the Champions League as progression, fair play. If
that's the only progression we've made in the champs this year.
If you view it as regression in the sense that we've not gotten the same amount of points, and yes, we've gotten further in the Champions League, but we still haven't won anything, then fair. Depending on how you judge things. If we go based off certain people's standards, they would view Manchester United winning the Europa League or Spurs winning the Europa League as a successful season, obviously, right? And anything less than winning a trophy is unsuccessful. So I personally think, my personal opinion, this season has been stagnation. And you can say in the league, we've regressed slightly. In the Champions League, we've improved. So it balanced out. At the end of the day, it's just...
I don't know about balanced out, Egal.
I think we stayed the same, because last year we were nowhere near winning the Champions League. This year we're closer to winning the Champions League, but we're further away from winning the league. And it's getting to a point where people just feel like Arsenal have been getting close so many times that either you go in one or two directions. Either you go on to win it, or you completely fall off and you go back to irrelevancy.
But how have we stayed the same? How have we stayed the same though for you?
Because we're still in the title races. We're still challenging. Last year, we never won anything. Last year, we never got over the line. This year, we didn't get over the line. We're relatively in the same position. Now, if we end the season in third, fourth, fifth, and godforsaken, Liga and Yardman will be celebrating if we finish sixth.
I don't think they would celebrate, man.
They would. They're gonna say it's a guaranteed trophy next year. That's what's going to make them happy.
I've seen us crumble in Europa. I've seen us crumble in the champs. Yeah, I don't even know if we'd necessarily win conference.
The new Europa League format, it's quite difficult to crumble.
Yeah, we always find a way of making.
Man United this season have been so shocking in the league, and they're pretty much going invincible in the Europa League.
Boy, I don't know, man. But for me, I think it has been regression. I do think there's certain elements that have stayed the same. You know, the top six record in particular is quite there. I think if I just look at certain things, we've not kept as many clean sheets. We've conceded more goals. The points dropped from winning positions, which goes into game management for me. Obviously, if we finish second, cool. But the points tally off whoever wins is unacceptable, and we could slip in that regards. Progress in the Champions League 100%, and for me it's just getting over the line. So I do think it's been stagnation and regression. I'll be completely honest, and I think a lot of collective players. I think there's been some bright periods. I don't think I've seen, for me anyways, with Mikel Arteta, I feel the 2022-23 season, great attacking football, and I'm not, just stay with me, great attacking football. Last season, I think I smelt a team that went up the gears defensively. I don't really see something we're significantly great at this year. And also on the topic of set pieces and dead balls, we've conceded a shocking amount of goals from that. That's actually the biggest percentage of goals we've conceded. So me personally, I think there is regression and stagnation. If I'm honest, Egal, I do think that.
Fair.
And ultimately, there's no silverware. You can regress and still win silverware. United are going to finish behind where they were last year. And I know that doesn't pay over their domestic campaign and whatnot, but do you get where I'm going?
But United have definitely gotten better in the sense that they're actually going to win it this year.
Well, we hope so. Like United, I'm a United fan for 90 minutes. I'm going to go and get my Norwich scarf today. I don't want Spurs to do that, bro. If I was Postecoglou, I'd leave as soon as I win that, if I win that.
Hopefully we see United win. And also Real Betis, because I can't have Chelsea winning another European trophy. They're going to win it. We know they're going to win it. Let's be honest. Chelsea, the Conference League is a walk in the park for a club like Chelsea or any of the top teams in the league.
I really care about Chelsea winning the conference though, card. They've won the champs twice. They've won the Europa twice. I know they're going to talk about completing the set, but I've seen too much now. Like, it's dead. Like, it's dead. I don't even think Chelsea have a parade for that. Like, a big club like Chelsea shouldn't. Maybe I'm being a bit sour, but really? I hope, of course, I hope they crumble. I hope Anthony does it. Who's in the finals? It's Betis, Chelsea, innit?
Yeah, we need Isco and Anthony.
Anthony, come on.
We need Isco and Anthony to turn up, but they're going to probably win it. And that's going to be another club. To me, it's just the fact that they're going to dunk on our heads. We really shouldn't care. But it's super annoying that it's going to be the whole summer where we're just going to hear about Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Man City. Hopefully Crystal Palace win a trophy. But even then, they're going to use it against us.
I mean, big up Crystal Palace. I mean, no disrespect, and I know you're a fan. Right? Big up D as well. Yeah, he's my guy. He's a Palace fan, but come on now, stay out of the conversation. Fair enough, talk your shit, banter, all of that stuff, but come on, bro. Like, come on, Crystal Palace, come on. As much as I'm unhappy about not winning the title, as I tweeted in reply to D, you would pray for times like this. All the things I'm vexed about with Arsenal, being in the semi-final, not getting over the line, all the Arteta stuff, this would be you lot's dream. And that's why you have to look at it in life. Someone's always got a lot less. Someone's always got a lot more. I just look purely at my football club. And I don't feel, based on last season, based on the comments that were said pre-season last year, based on, Odegaard and Arteta against Everton on the last day of the season, we're going to be disappointed. They're going to be disappointed. Fans are going to be disappointed. So, yeah, man, it's a failure of a season to me. But where do you view it? Is it a failure? I'm not going to ask you is it a success, because it's clearly not.
There's no painting it as anything but a failure. And I think people think for a second, I'm going to sit here and be like, you know what? No, it's not. Well, we did this, we did that. No, it's a failure in the sense that we did not reach our objective to win. Really and truly, that's it. There's no way anybody can paint this season as anything but a failure. We've come short of what we wanted, which is the ultimate goal of winning a trophy. Now, if you guys say here that there's things you can see from this season that were positive, yeah, there is.
What would that be as well for people who are trying to find that?
And ISN breaking through and getting a lot more minutes, and Arteta trusting some of the youth a little bit more than normal. With the rotation that had to be made, we now have more options going into next season. Hopefully he trusts Kivior more going into next season off the back of his performances to end the season if he's still here. And if not, we've at least raised the price of some of these guys like Kivior.
Hope so. With Berta as well, we should get some decent money for
Andre Berta's seen our problems full hand. He's seen it firsthand with his first 6 months here. This is why Arsenal wanted Andre Berta to come in now instead of going for a Luis Campos at the end of the season, because you visibly see the problems while it's happening. And the worst thing of them all, the board seeing the errors of their ways. Live in the fresh.
You reckon? I'm not talking about Berta, but I'm talking about the
board. I'm talking about
Berta and the board.
I'm talking about Richard Garlick. I'm talking about Josh Kroenke. You can see with the naked eye, somebody who doesn't even watch football, first time watching the sport, can be like, yo, why is this team always struggling to score when they have better players?
Yeah,
That's
but
what's
I
weird.
asked you that, Egal, because do you reckon, because I can, like, obviously I've never had a conversation with them, but you remember when we missed out on against Spurs for the top four, right? Where they signed players in January, we didn't. 2022, 23, where we fought for the league. Fair enough, it was only one injury, but you should see one injury can derail everything. Last season, relatively injury free, but you still missed Timber, Tomiyasu, and Partey, who were key players. This year, I don't need to tell anyone about injuries. You look at January, I mean, you look at the summer, based on the fact that we went into the summer, Mikel Arteta, for the bet, at least 3-4 occasions last season, said we've got one of the smallest squads, and we all know what we did, or better yet, didn't do in January. Like, these men are businessmen. They're too smart not to see this. They don't have to be football experts. But do you really think they've seen their errors in their way? Really?
Bro, they have. And what tells me, I can give you minuscule signs to tell you where they've seen
Go
the
on,
errors.
man.
There was a summer where Odegaard and Ramsey and those guys came in after the season started. The club learned their lesson, and the next season they signed Jesus, Zinchenko, and everybody before preseason started, and we hit the ground running the next year. The year before, when we missed out on top four, we didn't make any signings in January. When we were in the title race, not only do we make signings, we bid like 90 million for Mikel Mudryk.
Thank the
The
Lord that
reality
never happened.
situation is, thank God the transfer didn't happen, but then we ended up going and still trying to make another massive bid for Caicedo. The club tried to do a lot in that January, the next year, after making mistakes the previous January when we missed out on top four. Not only did we go back into the Champions League the following season, but we went went further and challenged for the league. Now this season, what did we learn from the previous season? You know what it was?
Need a
This
fucking
season,
forward. You need better quality.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they looked at it and what they learned was actually hurt us. Because last season, I think to end the season off, I think they thought they were ready to win it, and I think they
Well,
just
clearly complacency.
I think they don't. I just think going into this summer, I don't think they had enough urgency, and I don't think they viewed this past summer, as a summer where they needed to still make major additions. I think they just thought they could fix the bench
Think we
and
could
be
just
good
wing
enough
it,
to
man. That's
win.
what I mean. Complacency. I think everybody has to hold that in the summer and
Yeah.
January. Like,
No,
I've
but
never had
even
a
myself as a fan, I got bought into it because I said to myself, the first two seasons we never got hit with major injuries. This season was a reality check because we
But you
got
should also
cocky.
have to learn from others. We've seen Liverpool, we've seen City with Rodri get derailed. We've seen, I'm sure, Chelsea, definitely Liverpool. We've seen their seasons get derailed. It's one thing learning from our own experiences, which we need to, and that should be it. But also, a
No, but
wise
the
person
age and
learns from
profile of our
others.
players, Deluded.
Hmm?
The age and profile of our players, all being mid to early 20s, we're saying to ourselves, you know what? These
But
guys can
Dons
go
can
out
still get
there.
injured, bro.
I know you can still get injured, but it's like, you know what it is, early 20s to 30s, it's two completely different ball games. A lot of these players in their 30s, they need to recuperate and recover a lot more than the guys in their early 20s and mid 20s. And when you have a bunch of these guys over the last 2 years pretty much playing the whole season, no injuries, and especially Saliba, who played the whole season last year, no injuries, and you look at them this year, you're like, yeah, we could
Remember
do
the
that again.
international tournaments as well, bro. Because even Rice, there's got to be a coincidence. He
I
even
think
said
we got cocky.
physically and psychologically he struggled. In second half of the season, he's playing well. I think these lot are too small. I agree with you in the sense that
We got
I
cocky.
think there was naivety, and I think that's incompetence. I think that's brutal incompetence, even down to Arteta. I don't know how much of a mandate we had to sell, and obviously there's a business element. I actually think there was more of an element of selling based off last season in hindsight. But maybe I don't. Again, I don't know what happened, but did you have to sell certain players? Because it sounds mad, and I'm not. It's very reactionary. But there's been points this season. I've been like, Smith Rowe could have helped. Fabio Vieira would have been all right. Dare I say, Eddie Nketiah. And I know it
Hey,
sounds mad, but in terms of bodies, and that's why I said earlier, bro, I feel sorry if
bro, we
anything,
were
away
crying
from the
about
fans, the
Cheeto.
players. Pardon me?
We were crying about Cheeto, Obi Martin, Heaven leaving at certain
I
points of
wasn't
the
crying
season.
about them.
No, but I was saying, like, when we had our injury crisis with the center backs, I'm
They
like,
could have
Heaven
been
might have
helped as
helped.
well,
So
especially
yeah,
Obi Martin. But I don't know if
Obi
Arteta would
Martin
have
too.
used him.
I honestly, I was more or less calling Obi silly for leaving, but fair play to him. He went to Man United. He got bare starts already. But I'm just
And
gonna go
he
back
played
to
in the
my main point.
semi-finals in the Europa as well. To be fair to the other centre, but well, to the young defender.
Deluded. It goes back to two things. One, Nico Williams said no to us in the summer.
Mm.
That's one. Number two, they didn't have a good plan. on what they were going to do with the
and the ability to pivot.
Yeah, they had no plan. The where to this day I want to know where is the secret German signing? Where is the secret German?
Do you remember when we went out to Bayern?
What?
Do you remember when we went out to Bayern Munich? And fair enough, the club never said it, but the players with X factor, we need to do this and that. As I always say, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
No X factor players in the summer. What the fuck?
Exactly. Shout out to Marino, what he's been doing up front, and I like Calafiori, but we signed no game changers, no one that elevated anything. So I do think this season just was a shit show, bro.
From PSG, I'm sorry to talk over you, man.
No, go ahead, bro. This is why you're here. Go on.
If this club learned anything from the PSG tie, look at the impact that Kvaratskhelia has made to that team.
A January signing,
big money spent, impact, and I'm saying like transformative impact. They could go on to win the Champions League, and it's going to be because of Kvaratskhelia.
He could win 3 trophies, maybe 4 this year, including the Italian.
They're going to win the treble, and they're shamelessly talking about farmers leagues. When we talk about farmers leagues,
I rate that from Enrique. To be fair,
no, shameless. When we talk about farmers league, we talk about PSG's competition. We don't talk about PSG. Tell me PSG's competition, and you tell me those guys are good enough to compete for the rest, like the rest of the teams have in the Premier League for European trophies.
Let me ask you a question when you're finished as well on the topic of shameless.
Go ahead.
Surely Arteta shameless then. We've been the best team in the Champions League. We deserve to go through. Like, surely if we're calling Enrique shameless, surely Arteta shameless for his post-game.
I'm drinking the Arteta Kool-Aid then. Because I think you ask him a question, he tells you his opinion based on his feelings in the moment. Nothing's wrong with that.
But then you can't say Enrique's being shameless then.
No, I'm saying Enrique's being shameless in the sense that he's talking about Farmers League when we're not referring to him. You could say Arteta's being shameless, but
I think he's talking about the British press, to be fair, not necessarily Arsenal.
XG. Arteta's talking about goals against versus goals scored throughout the whole tournament. He's talking about our defense being the best. Let's be honest. We're the only team left in this tournament out of the 4 teams that were going into this cup without friggin' multiple key pieces. I know Barcelona started the game without Lewandowski. I know friggin' PSG started the game without Dembele. But on the run of the entire semifinals, we had the most XG and we had the least goals scored. We scored 1. That is crazy to me. And you know what it is? That's because individual brilliance wins you these close ties. Declan Rice did it the previous leg. Bukayo Saka helped do it the previous leg. Mikel Moreno helped do it the previous leg. This leg, we didn't have.
That's what I mean. There's too much romance, Egal, man. Behind, not saying you necessarily, but there's too much romance at the club, and I'm here for it. You know, injuries happen, players step up. You see it at Real Madrid. You see, respectfully to them, a Vasquez, a Diaz, a this one, an unlikely here, a Hosselu. They've got them kind of guys. But then when you remove the romance, they've got quality players. The same with Paris Saint-Germain. There's a lot of romance behind it. And I'm all for that. But you need cold-hearted killers in all actions. I think the one thing I agree with Odegaard and Mikel Arteta, football is decided in both ends. Ultimately, we didn't score. You know, the first 20 minutes against PSG, we huffed and puffed. And I think when you remove emotion, we become accustomed to Saka trying the thing, who scored and obviously missed. Declan Rice making those runs who had a header. Trossard and Martinelli missing opportunities, not getting at them. But these are regular themes we're seeing week in, week out, and it's courageous. But at what point does it become a bit of romance, like and unnecessary romance? And again, it takes me back to the summer. I don't want to keep referring to the summer, but you should have been proactive in the summer. You should have been proactively reactive in January. And this is why I said, bro, I feel sorry for the players, because I think it's, again, not to be a courageous loser, but isolated to the players and obviously the fans. I think you've given it a real good goal. Like, I think you lot have overperformed in the champs and done what you can in the knockout stages. Because at a part of me, beyond the tactics and whatnot, we gave it a good go against PSG. But our best, quote unquote, in that second leg, and PSG just being competent, it's chalk and cheese. It's night and day. Like, and this is what I mean by the romance. A part of it is not just, we need more than just players. Yeah, of course. But we clearly just need some better players. And so we need a striker, need a winger, need some centre mid options. You know, it's a mess, man. It's a mess, and we're making things difficult.
I hate oversimplifying things, but
go ahead, man.
I do think it's just as simple as Arsenal get an elite forward that comes into this team and gets us a goal, and we add another elite piece to that attack, bro. Not only do we win the league, but we're going to be one of the best teams in the Champions League again next season.
So a striker means we win the league. Is that what you're referring to? A striker. We
No.
get there's Saka, there's a striker, and we're
get
going.
get me Rodrigo and Gyökeres. We don't only win the league, we dominate Europe.
The guy can't.
I don't know why you're laughing. I'm dead serious.
Egal, come on,
if Arsenal are serious and they want to go drop, you know what? Saliba's going to leave for Real Madrid eventually. If you want to use him as a make weight to get Rodrigo, go get
already.
Dean
No, not this year.
Go get Dean Huijsen. Go get friggin' what do you call it? Go get friggin' Dean Huijsen now. Go get Rodrigo. Go get friggin' Gyökeres, and we go again.
So you don't think there's any tactical issues Arteta needs to fix?
Arteta tactically is a genius, bro. And
I don't disagree, but the hardest thing to do is score goals. In the last 35 meters, I mean, we struggle to break down low blocks. We kind of play the same way.
Defensively is an amazing coach. Offensively, we can't execute his game plan because we lack the quality in the final third.
Egal, man, I think you're looking at this very simply, my guy. I can't lie to you. I cannot lie to you. I think you're looking at this too simplistically.
But that's how I am, bro.
It would be a big help with these attackers. We definitely don't have 13, 14 draws, but bro, we've dropped. So what? A strike? Obviously, I agree with what you're saying in principle. In that, I actually think forget the champs for a bit, even though it's applicable, yeah. But the Premier League, 13, 14 draws, we still need to arrest that because there is a bigger question with game management. But I think if you have a striker, we probably at least half that because we would have had these same games, but we nick it. I don't agree that you just get a striker, you get a winger, you get a centre mid, we get more depth and we're great. There's a lot Arteta has to arrest on the tactical point of view. Look at the points we've dropped from winning positions. Look at the goals we're up there for goals conceded by a set piece. Look at the amount of dumb goals for a great defensive side. Look at our ability if other players don't step up. We know we're going down that right. There's no other real creativity. And I've said to you previously, I think there is a tax that I apply to all of the attackers with Mikel Arteta's system. I agree in the sense of he can be a bit of a tactical genius, a madman, or overthinker, but Arteta hasn't reinvented himself this year, bro. Arteta hasn't evolved his own tactical kind of nuance, and we're doing two projects at once. It's Arteta learning on the job, and it's Arsenal, and the two are being intertwined. I don't think it's just recruitment. I think it's a major thing, 1,000,000%, but bro, it's not just signings, fam.
Well, what's the main issue for you? Because to me, we have a lot of issues. And
There's a lot.
And I don't think Arteta's one of them.
I think he is in a sense, because in the same way, as I praise you for getting to a semi-finals, and if you was to win the Champions League and all of this, I'd give you plaudits. You have to. Like, if I rate you as a manager, and I share a lot of the sentiments you say, but because I rate you, like, it's Saka. Take Saka, for example. Top class, world-class player, right? Whatever you say. If he scores 10 games out of 10, we're rating that. We're like, yeah, can you get more? If he goes on a 10-game drought, we're asking questions. And I think with Arteta, I'm not saying you, but I think when we overcome and defy the odds and win, for the most balanced fans, I think they see it. Like, Arteta gets a lot of the praise. When we lose, obviously, there is a side that just attack Arteta. But when we lose, it's the board, it's this, it's that, and the other. And fundamentally, I don't want to be that guy, but you're paid a lot of money. I do think you've got ability. And for you, Arteta, if you truly believed, regardless of what men say about the Cronkies, etc., you wouldn't still be here. You wouldn't sign a new deal. I think there's many reasons as to why we're not where we're at, bro. Tactically, we need to evolve. We need depth. We need quality. Arteta needs to find in-game solutions, which I think he finds at times. If you notice, obviously, beyond Partey being back and all the other players going back to where they were. I wouldn't say masterstroke, bro. Come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
Masterstroke.
He had
masterstroke.
He was one of the best goal scoring strikers for like a 3-month span.
I'm not dissing Marino, you know, but masterstroke. It's like Kai Havertz. We didn't plan on him playing up front and being that. Remember last season, I'm not saying you, certain people were saying don't sign a striker because we got Kai. Where's Kai going to play? As I said, I'm all for that romantic and journey stuff. But you see across a 38-game season, however much in the cups, you need to just get over the line. Masterstroke, I think it was a good solution. Masterstroke's doing a lot. If anything was a masterstroke, it'd be and I still don't even think that as great as he is. Surely it's Lewis Skelly. Like, I don't, or even Rice in the 8. More than Marino. And take nothing away from Marino, he's doing a thing. That's an internal solution. But as I was saying, yeah, I think Mikel Arteta, he does change things in games. You look at the first leg against PSG, yeah, where you could argue there's many lessons. Remember how dead our press was? He was pressing, like there was 3 attackers pressing. We went to a 4-2-3-1. We done a lot better. Now, obviously, Partey weren't amazing in the second leg, but Partey came back in. Like you said there, Marino, all the other pieces to the jigsaw went back in. And we pressed in the same way we kind of pressed beyond the first 20 minutes against PSG in the first leg. I wouldn't say master stroke. You got to find solutions, bro. Like, I don't know, Egal, man. You're my guy, but sometimes you go a bit too mad with it, man.
Bro, you can disagree with me as much as you want.
Nah, man. Like, it's default. This is what football's about.
We're not going to agree.
And we just need to get over the line.
At this point, though, all we can do is look at our summer transfer window, demand some major signings, and look at the developments of what the club's trying to do. Right now, it looks like the club's trying to keep Thomas Partey. I don't know where you stand.
I'm not against it.
What?
I'm not against it.
There's a lot of people who are. There's some people who say to the level where they're saying, I'm not going to support the club if he's still here.
Yeah, like obviously owing to things away from football. And if he has done all of that, I think I speak for anyone. You need to get out of it. And even on the topic of Thomas Partey, I'm not against the long throws against PSG because clearly we found some sort of hit for that. But like we need to get back in the game.
But then the same people say you need different tactics, but then you show different tactics. They're like, what are we, Stoke?
You can't please some people. I like that aspect, but that's the only significant difference I saw. Give me something different and do that. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I mean in that I have a love-hate relationship. Love and hate is a really strong word, but it's a love-hate relationship with Mikel Arteta. If I park the fact that he's a manager of my football club that I love and what matters for a sec, I think you do have aura. I do think you have conviction. I would love to sit down with a cold beer and speak about football with you. I think you're a madman and you do that. You got people running through walls for you. I think you've shown big bollocks to take this football club to where it will get us to a point in it. But then, and he's obviously got his project. For someone that's been a manager for 2 years in the Champions League, you're in the semi-finals. So you as a manager, you're doing your thing. Unfortunately for you, Arteta, as much as I admire you, I'm an Arsenal fan. So then I have to bring you back into what we're trying to do. And we are trying to get over the line. You've got us to a point. Are you the guy to get us over the line? Because next season, if you go and get this striker, this, that, this and the third, and you don't win a trophy or whatever, where are we sitting with that now, Gal? And crucially, as I said, I rate the guy. So I have to hold you to high standards.
You know, if we don't win next season, it's a situation where it's not.
Does he have to go?
It's not only about Arteta going. We have.
Who else is there though, bro? To go.
Once again, it's not only about Arteta going. Arteta's gone, regardless. What happens next season? If we don't win majors, he's gone. There's no more saving him. There's no more leash. He's pretty much taken as much time as anyone can give you. And I do feel like even the higher ups at Arsenal are going to be like, yeah, if things go south this season, then he's got to go. And the reason why I say that is because there's been excuses before. Edu could have been an excuse, him leaving. There are excuses of the team not being ready, excuses of certain positions needing to be sorted. We get Victor Gyökeres and we get a left winger and we get a midfielder and we do all the stuff that we're supposed to do. Bro, at that point, there's no more excuses. There's no more hiding. There's no more covering for the manager because the team has inabilities. You've then addressed the attack, the defense, the midfield, the goalkeeper several times. And at that point, if you can't get it right, we have to get somebody who can get it right with what we have to our disposal. Right now, I'm not saying Arteta needs to go. Right now, I'm far from that. I think Arteta is the right man for the job, and I think Arteta is a great manager, and tactically, nobody beats us in games. We beat ourselves.
I hear that. I disagree slightly. I agree with the last part in a sense, but I disagree slightly because I think PSG across 2 legs, there were some tactical tweaks Enrique made that harmed us. But I agree with what you're alluding to in that we compete. There's really, you know, I hate all this extra.
We're better than us, Deluded. I'm not going to be delusional, but
no, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you in that we can compete is fairly even, but fundamentally, no matter how much we do that armchair expert stuff, football's a simple game. You got to keep them at the back of your net. You got to put them in your opponents, and if we done that, we might be in the final. Unfortunately, we're not, man. And Newcastle has, to be fair, we've been shit against.
We just need a huge development, something massive to happen in the summer that can change our fortunes in the final third. And I don't need all these players to massively turn into Messi. I don't need that. I just need Saka to be at his best, for the season and hopefully not get injured for a major chunk. I need to see better from the captain going forward, going next season, because he's not
Boy,
shown us
Odegaard,
this
boy.
season. Yeah, I need to see, what do you call it, Arteta trusting the squad more, because there's definitely games you could have given Kivior earlier in the season. There's definitely games you could have given some of these players earlier in the season. It didn't have to get to the point where Gabriel Magalhaes was injured, where you finally started rotating the back two.
And that's just something that I know, like we've seen it with Rodri, we've seen it with Saliba a few years ago. I'm not saying injuries can't derail a team and managers don't have to tweak, but I just feel we need to progress beyond that stage where, of course, like Saka's out for a substantial point of time, or Rice is injured, we'd feel that. But there needs to, you might not have a man that is Rice in the 8 or the 6, but there needs to be someone like that. I feel there's too much of a drop off, and I understand Arteta wants to kind of play the same way regardless of who's there, but I think for him, he needs to somewhat find a way at times when certain people are not there to pivot away. Because you look at the first leg against PSG, I don't think Rice can play against a team like PSG. I don't think, unless it's all men to the trenches, I don't think he could be a 6. But he put him in the 6, put Marino in midfield, and we still kind of committed beyond the press into from David Raya to there and still playing the same way. And I get it. I'm not a manager. I ain't got my UA for whatever. But to me, as an ignorant fan who just looks at games, I think you need to find ways to pivot, which is why for me, I think recruitment is the be all and end all to a degree and what needs to happen. But I think it's naive if we just assume the depth is there, the quality to the starting 11 comes into the club, bro, and automatically we're winning everything, including the Tour de France. I think it helps a fucking lot, but
that's
I think
your
there's
favorite
a lot
line. What's your if I was to say 4 players come in that scare the opposition, what would they be? 4 signings Arsenal
in a
could
world
make,
where I can have anything I want.
4 signings that Arsenal could make that are realistic within the parameters of what we actually are linked to, that would scare people. What are they?
I don't know about scaring, man, because then I look at Liverpool. Like, obviously, when they signed Mane, great player. Salah, great player. You know, Ronaldo, good player. Firmino, good player. But these were Robertson, good player. Back to back, well, relegation and that. Competent signings that you mesh them together. The manager knows what he's doing. You're going. You look at City. You know, at the time when they brought in Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan, these were seen as good players, but they weren't looked at necessarily as world class. Of course, I want Rodrigo and this one and that one, but for me, I want Gyökeres. I like Sesko. The impossible dream would be Isak. That's a myth. So I'm just going to say Gyökeres because it quote unquote feels like that. I don't know if Zubamendi's the answer, but it seems that we're very aggressive on that. So go and get that. That's your long-term Thomas Partey. I like Mbeumo. I think he would be good at us. Unpopular opinion. And I know people talk about, you know, Arteta don't like people with chips on their shoulder. And I think he would improve a lot off the ball. I want Ryan Cherky, bro. I really want that. I really, really want that. I think he can play in a lot of roles. The left wing is where it gets a bit niche for me. You know, big up Dan Potts because I had Dan Potts on the platform. There's not really any left wingers, admittedly, that I think are quote unquote realistic that scream out at me.
Lookman.
I'll have him. I'll have him. But even him, Nico, I like Lookman. I like Nico Williams. I like Kareem Adeyemi can play there. But I just don't know if the minute you sign, upgrade on what we've got there already and you're lit. I think you've got the raw materials, but I don't feel the same way as that. I could see, like, you get Gyökeres for me. We're going up the levels. You're clearly better than what we've got. I'm even prepared to say, do you know, unpopular opinion, if you was to get me 2 strikers, I might even say, you know what, forget left wing for a sec. Wait till Jesus is fit. But I think we need it. I think if we do not fix up front, an unpopular opinion, I think midfield is as important. We're in trouble. I'd have Eze. I'm not against El Canous. I'm not really on the Thuram thing. Pardon?
Imagine these 4 sign. Okay.
What, these on screen?
You get Zubamendi, Gyökeres, right? Zubamendi, Gyökeres, right? I'm not even talking about goalkeeper or defense right now.
Yeah, forget that for a sec.
Morgan Rogers.
I'm having that.
So but they're not Morgan Rogers, Zubamendi, Gyökeres. That's 3, right? The 4th one, what's a realistic attacking option? Because with those 3, are we gonna have money for the Rodrigos?
No, that's a myth. I'm saying Cherky. If Leon want 30 million for him, go give it to them.
I seen us linked to Semenyo today. Semenyo's not all
50 to 70 million. I don't see us doing that, man.
Yeah, he's not all that.
But we don't even need him to be all that. I actually think he would do well at Arsenal, but the price.
But why aren't we linked to Cherky? He's on a release clause. He's available.
Clearly, we don't want him, man. Clearly, he's not the guy for us.
And if we did get somebody like that, we wouldn't get a Morgan Rogers, because then he could play in the 10. He can play on the wing. He could cover
Morgan Rogers is more the Arteta type of midfielder. I feel, being a dynamic runner. Even Morgan Gibbs White more than a
I
Ryan
feel like
Cherky.
somebody's already agreed to sign his release clause, and he's probably already agreed to go to Liverpool or something like that.
Exactly. And do you know what? I was looking at the Champions League against PSG. Obviously, Luis Enrique has his way of playing. Everyone buys into it. Collective brilliance, all of that stuff. But then you just need a bit of quality. You see, beyond the obvious, Dembele as a false nine, Carrot Skeeler, Doué, and all the others. We need a couple of these. And, you
Thoughts
look
on
at
Anthony
Dembele
Gordon?
and Bacola, bro, you could have grabbed them.
Thoughts on Anthony Gordon? We're linked to him.
It's going to be more than Semenyo. Newcastle ain't letting him go. Like, Newcastle, like, we can forget anyone linked with Newcastle, bro. Forget anyone linked with Newcastle.
It's like that. Newcastle too big.
Grabbing no one from Newcastle. They just signed they just won a trophy. They've got a good collective bunch. Eddie Howe's doing all right. They're gonna make you pay through the nose, plus the English tax of Anthony Gordon. The Anthony Gordons, the Isaacs, the Tonali's, the Gomares, forget that. Like, forget them, man. There maybe some random academy kid if you want them from Newcastle. Forget all of that. I'd love to be wrong. I would take, especially in particular, Gordon and Isaac tomorrow. You slap them two with Saka, we're gone. But forget that. Forget no one ain't leaving the Magpies anytime soon, man. They're gonna win the league in the next 5-10 years.
5-10 years.
Genuinely. Newcastle's bad news. Once they get over PSR, I don't feel as aggressive with Aston Villa as I do with Newcastle. I think PSR, I don't think, unpopular opinion, the decision makers that be in the Premier League, they don't care about clarity and everybody spending what you need to spend and all of that. That PSR thing is clearly from the traditional top six to cripple the likes of Newcastle with an owner who actually gives a fuck, unlike Mike Ashley, and stop Aston Villa from getting to where they need to get to, because you can't buy and whatnot. You have to wait and be patient. It's a Carl. At Newcastle's bad news. They've got a good manager. They've got a good bunch. They've got they've got a good what would you call it, like recruitment. They're not just spending money like Chelsea for the sake of it. It's bad news for the top six. I see no reason as to why they can't be like City in the next 5 to 10 years. Obviously, there's a lot of steps, but it's bad news. And they got a religious footballing base. The only thing with Newcastle, as much as the area is great, it's just not in London, and that might affect other players. And I know they're a big club, they're not sexy like that. Pardon me?
You think Nico Williams a myth? Because the guy keeps pump faking. Like, I don't know.
There's rumors that he needs surgery at the end of the season, and plus, like you said, he's pump faking. 1 minute I want to, well, what we're told, 1 minute I want to stay at Bilbao, I want to go Arsenal, I want to go Liverpool, I want to go Barca.
I want to be Bilbao for life.
Yeah, Bilbao for life.
10 years. Like, what the fuck?
Forget all of that now, man. Like, by all means, go after him, but I don't want another summer of Nico Williams is R1. Let's just try get him, and then when he says no, we're like, well, we tried. There's nobody else. This is why my faith is in Berto, because I think he's a bit more mature in that. By all means, we'll go after him. I'll have all the chat with him and whatnot.
If Cunha's going to Man United, I don't want Kudus. Go get me Xavi Simons.
I wouldn't be against that still. I wouldn't be against that.
If you get Xavi Simons, he can play midfield and wing, and he's balling in both positions.
But you know what it comes down to, bro?
Money,
bro. And I don't know. I think Arsenal have money, but clearly the way we're spending and the way we want to go about it is very different. And again, we've got a lot to do, bro. Like, it's all fun and games, me and you doing some keep or sell. We'll sell this one and that one. But as you know, we might want to sell players. Players might not want to leave. We might, a player might want to leave. We want to sell. We don't get the offer we think. Players might want to run down their deals. Pardon?
It comes down to execution.
It comes down to execution. I'm not expecting us to do everything in terms of incomings and outgoings, and I can't put a percentage on it, but I think we need to do at least 98% of the business. And I actually feel sorry for Berta to a degree in that one man can't just walk in and change everything. Don't get twisted. I want him to do something, but think about it logically. If you're Berta and you're going into an office where don't know who or what was doing what, but I'm Berta. I've done my thing at Atletico Madrid. I've done the heroic thing in that Real Madrid and Barca dominate that league. I found a way to win 1-2 things. If I feel like this and doing things, and I go into that Arsenal office where you've got Richard Garlick, all of these guys who have shown at vital times an inability to pivot. They don't want to do certain things. You can't do it all alone. Everyone has to sing from the same hymn sheet. Like, Berta's getting all the credit for what he done in his 12 years at Atletico. But I don't know all the people that was around him, because one man can't do it alone. In the same with Arteta, we know he's the coach, but you've got the coaching staff, and we see it every week. You know, they pan to the set piece coach. So I don't know how much Berta can change in a matter of months. That being said, Berta, striker, please, and all the other things me and the guy have just mentioned. That's what I need from you.
What for you would be the perfect transfer window? Because I don't think there is one.
There ain't one. But to humor your question, you get me all the players we've been speaking about, but I'll just say positions. You get me perfect. You said perfect, innit? So I can dream of a world, innit? 2 strikers. You get me a Gyökeres. That's your plan A. You get me not necessarily Liam Delap, but a next one like an Nketiah on steroids. Someone that's gonna be number 2, but you could be our Origi of sorts. Like you might only score 8 goals, but those goals might be the difference, really and truly. You get me a left winger. You get me a 6. You get me a 8. Dare I say, boy, Wanyeri, I need you to play, man. You might even get me a 10. You actually get me a left back. You get me 2 goalies, and then you sort out, Fabio Vieira, Lokonga, Tavares, Zinchenko. Who else am I missing out? Who else is realistically going to leave this summer? Jorginho by default. Yeah, so you free up the wages. But in terms of recruitment, I'd feel a lot bullish. And then the Kai Havertz's, Trossard if he stays, Martinelli if he stays, because there's rumors he might cut. You, man, are squad players. And I don't mean that in a disingenuous way. Like, certain men are not evolving. Like, how much times are we going to live or die by? And I like him. He's a good kid. Everybody knows how I'm the biggest Martinelli fan. But how much time is going to live or die by you not scoring goals or Trossard not scoring goals? Is there any coincidence Trossard, and I feel a bit rude to say this, but he's back on the bench, super sub thing, he got an assist. Let's be honest, Saka is the only one that's going to do the business. I'm all on Kai Havertz being an option through the middle, Merino going through a purple patch. But bro, we need to stop the romance. To get over the line, we need to remove the romance. You're old enough to remember when we won the Premier League at Old Trafford. Obviously, the dynamics have changed. But what team did we got there? We had to rest a couple players and a couple men were injured. They stepped up. We need a squad, bro. And I'm tired of not having that. I'm tired of us. And I don't know about anyone else, yeah, but if we put our best foot forward, like let's just say we had the summer last year that we had, yeah, and the injury still played out. Me personally, now I'd be kind of what you're saying, and it's unlucky. You tried, it happened. But this has all happened in spite of it. Like, it's like, bro, if me and you know it's raining, you got a hat on. Me and you are going to stand in a park, it rains. Egal doesn't bring a jacket, an umbrella or whatever. It starts drizzling. You still don't go and find shelter. You wait till it's peeing buckets and you're in flip-flops. Whose fault is that, Egal? You knew it was going to rain, bro. Exactly. And that's how I feel we behave, bro. It's jarring. Bro, it's deflating, bro.
This is why I started the video the way I started. I think the team that's going to be the favorite to go into the Premier League next season and win it is going to be the team that goes and signs the big player in the summer, like Rodrigo, like Florian Wirtz.
You really want Rodrigo in it? You keep mentioning my man's name.
Yeah, because, bro, that solves so many of our issues. A clutch player, goal scorer.
Bring that as well.
Who can play and who's done it and won it. If we go and add Zubimendi, Gyökeres, and Rodrigo, bro, I could wait for the attacking midfielder. I could wait. If we go and get Rodrigo, that solves so many of our issues as a football club, as an institution, as an attack, as a
I'd play him in the 10, unpopular opinion.
We always speak about we need clutch players. This is a man who single-handedly carried Real Madrid to 2 Champions Leagues. Helped them. Sorry, not carried. Helped them.
Played a significant role, to be fair.
Yeah, helped them massively. And yeah, I think this is why I'm infatuated with players like that. Because I'm looking around, Nico Williams is like a bargain. He's like a bargain shop version. He has.
But don't you think we need to do, like, I'm not saying Nico Williams necessarily, yeah, but we have multiple choices. We either do the Brentford and Brighton thing, and I know many fans want us on one hand, a bit like what you said earlier about people being hypocritical in that you want us to find gems. We find these gems, you diss it and say, who the hell is this, blah, 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 blah. But you either do that, you either spend the big money on the Rodrigos and these kind of men that are going to cost 90, 100 million, and we know we're not going to sign 3-4 of them, or you do the Liverpool, to a degree, City. But I think Liverpool's the best example where, the Robertsons, the Salahs, the Manes, the Firminos, you get these guys, a bit even to a degree, Newcastle with a couple of them. You get the guys that are not held in high regards like that. You bring them into the football club and keep it moving.
I view Rodrigo as? I view Rodrigo as a can't miss transfer.
I hear that.
Being, you sign Rodrigo, he's the kind of player who is ready to explode, never been given as much freedom. He's always been in a team where he's not been one of the main men, and he comes to Arsenal. Could be Alexis Sanchez 2.0.
Chill. I have to off topic. Yeah, I owe social joins an apology. Yeah, I still maintain everything I said about Rafael, but I'm on the point of spending the peas, and it's more of a case of I'd rather work with him than certain others. And we've actually been linked with Rafael as well.
Leal is like Rashford. He has his flaws.
Spend the peas, man.
He has major flaws in his game.
You're right, Wilson. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Wilson, but you're right. Two things can be true. I'd love to do both, but are we gonna do both? As I've said to Egal before, I look at this thing on a double-edged sword in a sense that if we can go and get, as Egal said, Rodrigo, as I said, Gyökeres, guys that are right now ready mode, great. You should never stop future planning. So when I see you linked with a Napan or this random Brazilian youngster and whatnot, do that because Madrid have done that. Madrid have bought players for right now, and then they've gone and got Edric and all these things. I do think Leao's a bit Rashfordy and stuff, but I'm on it, man. I'm actually on it. I'm fully on it. I'm fully on it. Like I'm at the point now. I just want the club to. I don't really care. Just spend peas and I'll criticize it. You know, I know some people say I want Gyökeres. No, I want this. No, I want that. Bro, just get me a striker now. Get me a striker and we'll talk. We'll talk after. I'm tired of it now.
You know what I want? Make sure you don't leave the summer transfer window without getting us a striker, a left winger of quality. That's it. And if you get us a midfielder for Jorginho and them leaving, it has to be of quality.
Let me ask you this.
If you're gonna go get cover, get players who can push, not players who are gonna come in and have to develop and we're unsure if they're ever gonna get game time. Because I've seen way too many times where we've signed players in the past, like the Lokongas and these other guys.
Company's got blood on his hands. He robbed us still.
Where we paid 20 million for, and we didn't even know if they were ever going to get a return on. Whatever we pay for, we have to see an immediate or long-term investment plan. It cannot be something that we don't know we're going to get investment on. We signed Zubimendi, Gyökeres. I know that's going to hopefully work out because there's at least been a sample size. Rodrigo, I know that. Even Anthony Gordon and Semenyo and Cunha, at least we've seen it. I don't want to go and get some guy from Leicester, get some guy from the Championship.
I'm having that Canoes, brother. I can't lie to you.
Nah, bro, I'm not having it. I'm saying to myself,
what if Arteta wants it?
If we're getting a young player from an academy, from a Championship team, it better be like a Martinelli situation where we're paying 10 million less, and that player is not even guaranteed to be starting or being in the first team right away. Let
me ask you a question, yeah, because we're talking about left wing, yeah. If you can only have one,
look at Manchester United when they signed Ahmad. They spent all that money for a player 4 years down the road.
Fucking amazing player he is. But let me ask you a question, yeah. You can get the striker of your dreams, bad boy striker, gonna get us goals, or you can equally get you could get a world-class, top-class striker or a world-class, top-class left winger. I guess Rodrigo for you. You can only get one, and a club are not gonna address the other. Which one are you
not gonna address it?
Yeah, they're not. You either gonna get your big boy striker or you're gonna get your big boy left winger. You're not getting both.
Then we're not winning shit.
But which one are you going with? Because I think I'd rather go with the forward still.
Of course, but we're not gonna win with the left wing position options that we have. They're too predictable. They do not have the ability to pick out a pass and decide a game with their creativity. And their shooting is hit or miss. So with the left wing options that we currently have to our disposal, Martinelli, unless he goes back to being clinical, or Trossard, unless he goes back to creating as well as he scores, we are going to have deficiencies in our game. The two of them together, if you could fusion them like Dragon Ball Z, they'd be amazing. But the fact that you can't do that in real life, these guys have flaws in their game that limits us in our attack.
Fair. I think you need to do both, but I would prefer a world where, as much as I agree with you about a left winger and we need to address that anyways, I'd prefer a world where we've got a proper striker we can believe in, Bukayo Saka, and what shall be on the left shall be, rather than you've got your bad boy left wing and the striker. But then I keep mentioning Liverpool. I know it's not the same. Take nothing away from Firmino because he was good, but he weren't a bagsman. They did have Salah and left and right.
Firmino, that 1 year in the Champions League, one of the highest ever goal scorers.
That's what I'm saying. So you can get away with it still. So it does make sense. And even against PSG, I was looking at it in that I wish we had a player, even 50% of Bukayo Saka in that game. Because even if it was a player that wasn't better than Saka, but they was like 50% of Saka. We bloody do a lot. I need to race through a couple of things with you, my guy, before we get out of here. Yeah, but I was told to ask you certain things, man. Like the first thing I want to wait. In fact, first thing, what's this? Yeah, the first thing. Yeah, I was told to ask you about your pin tweet. I don't think Mikel Arteta gets enough credit for having Arsenal still competitive with the amount of adversity we faced this season. Do you still stand by that?
110%. I
Fair.
double down on that.
Fair. So then, has Arteta been a failure at Arsenal? This is said 5 seasons. I think they're lying about £800 million spent, but a lot of money spent and 0 trophies. Is it a failure?
No. He has started from a very low bar and raised it himself to the level where people are now saying not winning the Champions League is a failure. Let's be honest. To start the season, even the most optimistic Arsenal fan wouldn't have held the club to that standard.
I hear you, and I think you're right. I think where people would say I don't think not winning the Champions League in isolation is a failure. I would say it's a disappointment being in the semi-finals, not knowing if we're going to be there. I feel the broader question is we haven't won a trophy, and that was where, well, because we're out of everything, that was where all the eggs were. And when you do what you did against Real Madrid, you start to hope it could have not papered over cracks, but it could have papered. I think the bigger question is it's another year we didn't win silverware, and the Champions League's the last thing we went out, so everything's going to be centered around that. But I think it's a failure. You know, you have to learn from your failures. I think it's a failure in that we haven't won anything this year. I wouldn't quite say 5 seasons. I would look at the last 3, including this year in particular. That is where, and I've said this, people can go back and watch what I've said in 2022, 23. After that, the way that played out, it is failure because we've been a bloody good team. We've done bloody good stuff. There's nothing in history. But yeah, let's move on, man. You've said it's obvious why we lost. Arsenal have so many problems this season, but Mikel Arteta isn't one. He coached a win today, but we were not clinical. If I isolated that and didn't know you was talking about Paris Saint-Germain, yeah, people have said that numerous times. Like, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Like, how far does that go for you? As I said, I was told to ask you this.
I think the thing that people don't like about this tweet is if you break it up into parts, the first part, coach the win. I don't think people like the fact that when people say stuff like that, because if you coach the win, they expect you to win. But my point is, up until the final third, Arteta has done his job getting the players in the final third in the right positions to get those goals. Now, if Leandro Trossard, Martinelli, Declan Rice, Saka, none of them are finishing those chances, we have to create more. We have to continue going. And I just feel like at a certain point, the manager has gotten these guys to create 5 XG worth of chances, but they couldn't finish their dinner. Is it really on him? Is it really on him to go and get
yes and no
in the back of the net?
Yes and no. As a manager, you've always got to front up and take the music. I agree with you in that the players got to finish your dinner, but these are also the same players that got us here. And ultimately, you're going to live or die by the squad. The team's a reflection of the manager.
He also got us here with a player playing at striker who never played there before.
Exactly. And that's what I mean by what I said earlier about the romance. That's great. That's romance. But once you get to the nitty gritty and you just need traditional players in traditional jobs, between Mikel Arteta, the recruitment staff, anybody who has any say about bringing in certain positions, going back to the summer where we needed a striker, that's your business. You all signed up for this. Honestly, you signed up for this. When you don't equip the depth in the squad, you sign up for our inability to cope with injuries. When we need goals and we can't quite do it because we've known this, we've been saying it for time. People wanted to quickly tell you about how, you know, we score this much goals, we got 100 odd. How many times for the last 3 years they said, we know we'll score goals, but who will score goals? A lot will come from set pieces. Rice has added something. Havertz is, whatever people say, been one of our most reliable goal scorers. Marino's done well. Trossard and Martinelli, they're quite shit in terms of goals, but they're all across the season. Saka is the only one. We're living or dying by it. Goals win games. So I agree in principle, but everybody's got to take responsibility for this. I can't just sit here and say the players because you've assembled this squad. We've said that. And this is what I mean by the collective. This is what I mean when I said earlier, Gal, if I feel sorry for anyone at this football club, it would be the players because they probably wanted additions and obviously the fans. I have certain luxuries I give Arteta and certain excuses, and there'll be certain things that I don't think you got a leg to stand on. The same for the board, but it doesn't really matter because collectively we're all in this together and we're all licking our wounds in it, and we are at that stage where it is what it is. It's not what it's not. We go again, man. I was told to ask you. Lee and Yardman said they want Arsenal to finish 6th to play in the Europa League next season instead of the champs. Where would you be at that? Big them up. I'd prefer, regardless, to be in the champs.
Same. I would always rather be in the Champions League, and if I take it any further, people will start disagreeing with me. So I'm just gonna stop there. One in my head.
Fair enough. Do
Because
you
I
think it was a
realized
journey to be proud of?
yes and no. Yes, in the sense that we've gotten further than we've gotten in what is it, a decade plus in the Champions League, 15 years or something. Last time we did
16,
that,
yeah, long time.
last time we did that was 2009. So great, but we didn't win. We didn't get to the final. So no, it's not. Ultimately, it's not something to be proud of. It's just a nice memory, but it's not really something to be proud of. I think at this point we've raised the bar to a level where if we don't win, we can't really be proud too much of the season yet.
Exactly. And again, the news is starting to filter out. The main focus at Arsenal will be on the forward, and those within the club say there are now so many options that there's no excuse. Hopefully, they're held accountable to that. David Ornstein said we like, he's poured cold water on the Rodrigo shouts. He's said we like Anthony
He
Gordon
did?
and Nico Williams. Huh?
Not that
Yeah, no,
really.
he's well, I mean, it could happen, but he's poured cold water. He said he don't have any
Yeah, but
info
you
on
know
it.
what? You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna go to Liverpool and he's gonna be the Mo Salah replacement. He's gonna be there for the next 70 years.
Fair enough, man. But Liverpool have had Mo Salah. They ain't won the league all the time. So as great as that is, we need to find a way to pick them. You've gone over Morgan. To be fair, you said you'd take Morgan Rogers. I'm the same as well. Apparently, he's open to a move. Not sure how much I buy the rumors because the PSL BS is coming out. This was that they said this about Newcastle last year. They got to sell Mahrez by June the 30th or whatever. I hear it. The game's the game. Gyökeres is our first choice target. We've gone over that. You've gone over Rodrigo, and apparently Liverpool, Arsenal, City have all made contact. And I know your thoughts on that, so I won't ask you with that. Apparently, Real Madrid have joined the race for Gyökeres. Do you think he'll pick Arsenal over Real Madrid?
Gyökeres will pick our. You know what? I never thought Real Madrid would come in for him.
It could be nonsense because I don't know how credible the source is.
Because they need to get rid of Vinny. They need to get rid of
they
one
need
of
an
Vinny
out-and-out striker as well.
They need to get rid of one of Vinny or Rodrigo before they go and get Gyökeres. Also, if I'm not mistaken, since when do Real Madrid go and drop 60 to 70 million on players nowadays? They just wait for the best players to run down their contract.
I think they're more likely to do that in midfield and defense than up front, if I'm honest.
They need to defend. They need to go get defenders. I could see them just going and getting friggin' somebody random like that guy that plays.
They need a Hosselu type guy in the squad type. I think they do need an out and out nine.
What's the Ukrainian guy from Girona? They can just go put him up front at Real Madrid and he'll bag 20.
It begins with a D in it.
Dobrik or Dobrik.
Yeah. He was linked with us. Don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there, but he's gone. Do you really think we'll get Zubamendi? Apparently, his move's expected to be confirmed in the coming weeks.
Deal seems to be as good as done. The only thing that could stop it now is if what do you call it? What's his name? Xabi Alonso starts whispering in his ears.
I hear that. Mikel Arteta apparently is pushing to sign Kevin De Bruyne. Are you on that?
I tweeted this before any Arsenal fan did. I want Kevin De Bruyne to come to the club.
Why?
I think Kevin De Bruyne could do a Pirlo at Arsenal and revive his career for another 4 years.
You reckon?
Bro,
when he can't stay fit with the Arsenal tactic.
We don't need him to do all the running. We don't need him to do all the up and downs.
Big wages, bro.
We could ask him to play a little bit deeper. Don't forget, this is a guy who's run down his contract and is leaving on a free. So he's not going to be demanding the same wages he was demanding at Man City when he was in his prime. He's past his best.
You don't think he wants that 200 bags?
Bro, we gave Jorginho close to 200. We can give him close to 200. Give him the Jorginho money. Give him the Jorginho money. Be like, yo, come into this team when we need you in games. When Odegaard's not playing well, you make him raise his standards. You teach him the ropes. Because right now, we don't have a lot of the older senior pros are coming out of this team. And I'm looking around and I'm saying, yo, we could use it, Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne comes into Arsenal. He could be our version of Andre Pirlo, or you know how Chelsea used to. You know how Chelsea just got Cesc Fabregas from Barcelona. He could be like that.
You still think he's the Kevin De Bruyne of previous years?
Kevin De Bruyne at Arsenal this season or next season. If we get Kevin De Bruyne and he joins Arsenal next season, guarantee he gets more output than majority of our midfielders next season. Still,
yeah, but you know Arteta's system is rightly or wrongly it's around running. I don't think we can
enough runners. We have enough
Kevin's
runners.
Gonna have to run, bro.
We have enough runners to carry a Kevin De Bruyne for those games where we need to unlock defenses. Those games where we need to unlock defenses, Kevin De Bruyne is an amazing option. We don't have options that come off the bench that scare opponents, that have the experience, that have the know-how. We look at our team and we say to ourselves, Odegaard comes off, it's Ethan. I know Ethan's good, but it's like most
if he
times,
gets on the pitch,
most times he's not all that. I'm just saying, like, give Kevin De Bruyne a 2-year deal on short wages, staying in the Premier League, allows him to stay in the UK. I think he has family and everything in the UK. He doesn't want to maybe move right away.
you know, technically he could have played for England. I think his mum was born in England.
Bro,
What could have been?
if he goes to Italy, he will be playing another 4 or 5 years in his career.
1,000,000%. Look at Mkhitaryan.
And he will still be considered one of the best in the world. I guarantee you. So I don't know why Arsenal aren't going in for him. I don't know why any other major Premier League club isn't going in for him. And if I am Napoli, I'm about to win the league, and I have freaking all these guys like Scott McTominay and stuff. I'm taking Kevin De Bruyne. I'm putting him in Napoli.
He's linked with them. He's actually linked with Liverpool as well.
If I'm Inter, I'm putting him in Inter. They debunked that. They said there's not been any contact between Kevin De Bruyne's camp and Liverpool.
Fair enough.
As for Arsenal, reports came out from Football Transfer. Like, Football Transfer is as good as me and you giving a report. So I don't know.
The hustle's the hustle. The game is the game. Tekka's the only F off, man. But we'll be supporting United. I see you trolling in my comments all the time. But one love.
Bro, when you got flower men that live in North London giving you news about Arsenal, it's mad.
We saying for Gittins. Apparently us and Chelsea. Okay.
If you don't know, you don't know, bro. The Steve guy, I have beef with him. Never talk to
this guy. Hey, you're funny, man. We say for Gittins. Arsenal and Chelsea looking at. We were talking about left wing. It seems like they're getting aggressive.
I don't want that guy. I don't want him. I am stuck up now. I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, if it ain't Chanel and Gucci, keep it away from me. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at brand names. I'm not looking at what do you call it? No names. Like, I don't rate the kid because he's only been playing at the top level for 1 year. Give him more experience, maybe then. I don't think we're at a stage where we need to go and look at players before they've made a name for themselves and ask them to come to Arsenal and make a name for themselves. We're not at that stage. That is Manchester United, Tottenham right now. That they're at that stage. Arsenal is at the stage where we need players to come into this team that are somewhat established, that we know what they're going to deliver for us, because we want to win, and we want to win now. Stop saying Gittins, this guy, that guy. And on top of that, if we're going to go and look at those kind of players, the money that they're asking for those kind of players is stupid money. What are we talking about?
But what if Arteta wants it? Like, what if that's what Arteta wants? What if that's the guy?
I rate Arteta, but if Arteta wants players that are on the cusp, then when are we going to ever win anything if you're always buying squad players?
Yeah, but he bought Havertz. He bought Marino. You said it was a masterclass with Marino. So what if he could do a masterclass with Gittins?
Bro, sometimes I need you to stop working hard and work smarter.
This is why I'm asking Berta. Yeah, Arteta. No, and I'll be serious. No more of that. Listen, big up Marino, big up Kai Havertz. I'm not missing them. No, pardon?
You agree with me, right? You're just asking the questions, but you
agree. Yeah. I'm just asking the question. For me, bro, next summer, there's none of this smart XG kind of rhetoric, bro. Striker that's going to score goals. Bro. Winger that can take man on. Centre mid that
Look at Timber. Look at Timber.
Yeah, big up Timber. Smart signings. No more of this masterclass shit. No more of that.
That's why Turkey's
you perfect. Address the areas you need to address. You can do all of that, but fuck all of that.
You're right. Turkey's perfect.
I'm not on that. Everything needs, word to fams on TV, everything needs to make sense. I don't want guys that can do we need to go, as much as the game advances, and we live in a day and age where strikers are your first defenders, goalies are almost your first playmakers with how good they are at their feet. It's back to basics now. It's back to basics. A striker that's going to score goals, a winger that can take man on, a centre mid that wants the ball, has the mentality to fucking demand the ball and try and dictate the play of it. This is where we need to go now. No more. If you do all of that, Arteta, you can do what you need with all them other guys, you know, like crazy, man. Last question for you then. Tekka's only, man. Make sure you're hitting the like button, guys, man. Deluded, please ask the Egal dude who he wants to win the final and if he'll be tuning in on Wednesday the 21st.
Is that the Spurs United final?
Yeah.
You see, I don't even know when they're playing. I just know that's not the
I
Champions
do,
League.
because it could be a day I'll be angry.
Listen,
2 weeks on Wednesday.
I don't want Spurs to win. Simple. I would rather want Manchester United to win because, one, Manchester United are already a bigger club than us. I don't want clubs below us catching up with us, number one. So whenever it's Man City and Liverpool, I root for Liverpool. Whenever it's
City have lapped us, bro.
Whenever it's Manchester City versus Manchester United, I root for Manchester United. I personally don't think I want anybody below us to catch up to us. Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, any of those guys. I don't want them anywhere
Chelsea
near
and City have lapped us, bro.
Chelsea and City have not lapped us. City and Chelsea still have less trophies than us.
Well, I'm not even talking about the trophies. Like, in the last 10 years, they've done a lot more of what we want. Like, I've seen, unfortunately,
in that
Chelsea.
Case, are you saying they've lapped Liverpool also?
I don't know about Liverpool. I know about Arsenal. I've seen Chelsea win 2 Champions Leagues, 2 Europa Leagues. Fuck their conference. I want that. We're the biggest team in London. No one can tell me that. But are we the best? Obviously, with the domestic season at this moment in time. City, I remember when Man City versus Arsenal, Danny Mills would just get turned over by Thierry Henry. Seeing them man do the treble, seeing them win the Champions League. I'm not even talking about who's bigger or whatever, but they've lapped us. They have had more excitement than us. Like, we have been at this stadium for a while, and I know we don't spend money like them, and we're doing it in our own way. And I'm not even saying I want to mimic them. Obviously, I want to win Champions Leagues, but we haven't put our best foot forward. The last 3 years in the Premier League, we ain't done what needed to be done. Champions League, boy, how good would it have felt, if it meant something to beat Real Madrid? But it is what it is, Egal, man. This is what we signed up for. The good, the bad, the highs, the lows. Next season thing, man. Egal, let people know they can find you, my guy.
Egal Talks Football. I'm going to be actually live after this, after Deluded show. I'm going to be doing.
And we're doing a show on Monday on Egal's platform, people. So make sure you're subscribed.
Deluded's going to be on a show Monday. Honestly, today's jam-packed. I got a video on my channel doing quick match, just talking about transfers. Then we're going to be doing another video, which is like my weekend preview. These guys are going to be cooking me for PSG. And then I got Hussam and Hamza coming on at 10 o'clock. Hamza just wants to cook about Man City could potentially be level on points with us if we lose to Liverpool. And Hussam just wants to talk about the Guard of Honor and us clapping for him. It's honestly, I don't get Liverpool fans' obsessions with us clapping for them, but I get it. We gave them stick. They want to give it back. But now every single tweet I see about Arsenal, there's a Liverpool account right underneath talking shit.
Social media fans are the worst, and I think that goes for all football clubs. Me personally, I believe in sport. Give them the Guard of Honor. They want it in the same way. They don't have to do it to us. But if we won the Prem, I don't think anyone could say anything about Guard of Honor. This is what sport's about. You go to war. You lot are the better men. Let's go. And even if Arsenal fans are upset, bro, you've seen Man United take Van Persie and do that to us. So it is what it is. If we didn't want to be in that scenario, we should have done what needed to be done. Pardon?
You know how rivals are about? Every single Arsenal channel, you got rivals in the comment section nowadays. They were hiding. I can't lie,
I don't normally get affected, but the one thing I thought, we need to start winning. I see a tweet, they were like, the only thing Arsenal are raising is their hands from set pieces. I was like, all right, cool. All right, that was a good one. We need to win something, but the game's the game, man. It is what it is.
You know what got me? You know the Tottenham fan who wears the mask?
When
Raya asked, when Henry asked Raya, which one do you want to win, Champions League or the league? And he said both. And then the guy put the Indian guy laughing. And I swear to you, I started crying. I was like, this is it.
And this is it, man. Like, we just have to hold that, man. It is what it is, man. But yeah, Gal told you where to find him. The man's going live. I'm on his channel on Monday, and I'm sure there'll be videos and whatnot on both platforms. Egal, as usual, one love, chat, like, comment, subscribe. We're out, man. Enjoy your Friday and your weekends, people. Egal, I know, my guy. Safe.
Always